It's my third YouTube video. I'm slowly getting the hang of all this editing stuff, but apparently at the start of this restoration, my filming wasn't so pro. This is day 2, enjoy. It's day 2 of the restoration. Eagle-eyed viewers will see that the headlining is still in, and I may have said that yesterday we would be, taking the seats out, then the headlining, etc. I've since learned that the headlining is probably one of the last things I'm going to be taking out, because there's a hell of a lot of trim that has to come out first before I can even look at getting the headlining out in one piece. Like, sure, you could maybe just rip the thing out if that's the approach you wanted to take, but I really need to keep the headlining as intact as possible so that my mum's able to make patterns out of it and remake it. So yeah, to do that, it's going to be one of the last things that we take out. I'm back. I actually didn't at any point explain to the camera what I was going to be doing on day 2. So to help this YouTube video tell a story, I've been told it's all about telling a story. Today we're going to try and strip the rest of the interior. We started with the rear panel. Let's get into it. This rear interior panel, not entirely sure how it comes out yet, but to give us a bit more space, we want to be able to try and get in from the outside. So we're going to take the rear window out. Instead of taking the chrome out and risking bending the chrome, we're just going to cut the old rubber out and then take the windscreen off. Now cut around all of the rubber. Can now lift the windscreen out easily. We were a bit stumped in getting the rear interior panel out, and it's slow progress, but we think we found out how to do it. We've had all sorts of suggestions. Some were effective, burning it off, ripping it off, pulling it. I'm sure they would have got it off, but they weren't quite what I was looking for to kind of keep it intact. We had one from one of my very good mates who was like, it's probably something like the Haynes manual. Step 1, remove engine. Step 2, remove panel. And he wasn't too far off, I don't think. We've yet to find out, but we have gone back to the engine bulkhead and we've pulled off this sound deadening, which at first I thought was just kind of glued back to that bulkhead. But once we pulled it off, we've actually found some little, what did you call these?
They're sort of ratchet washers, go on one way and then you can't get things off.
So yeah, we found these, and there's quite a few of them in the classic Porsche factor of safety. You don't want your rear you don't want your engine sound deadening falling off, and equally you don't want your interior board coming out. We're going to try and remove those, see if the board comes out.
Remove the board.
Oh, there we go. So yeah, not far off.
There we go. Wriggle it off. There's 2 on here. Great. Factor of safety plus. So you've got 7 clips and there's 2 clips on each one. It's a bit like the seat bolts, 14. That's everything's done in 14s. There we go. And we get the rest of it. There you go. And that is, I think, holding the seat on.
We've taken off what we think is the voltage regulator to get this last bit of sound deadening off, and we found a little, I don't know, it's like a little mud wasp nest, so maybe minor bees or something small in the back here. Hopefully there's something still in it.
We can put it back, or can we destroy it?
Yeah, I'm not putting that back. There it is on the floor. A little bit concerned about the amount of dust going into my carbs here. I hope the filters are working well. So it's off. Here we go. Here are the little studs. If anyone in America can tell me what these little eggs are, I'd love to know, because they are all over. Oh my Jesus, look in there, get the camera in there.
They're not dinosaur eggs, are they?
No, dude. There's one more in there.
No.
With the rear panel out and my dinosaur eggs safely out, I then started on the sill trim. This was a job that I was going to tackle the day before, but I put off. This was probably just for the best. We're trying to take this bit of trim off that is retaining outer sill, but unfortunately one of the things with trouble is that her seals aren't in great condition, and as we moved down taking the screws out, they got progressively harder to get out, and this last one has been pretty stubborn. No matter how much kind of pressure I applied to the screwdriver, it's starting to slip and ride out of the screw. And before I completely ruin the screw, I do want to try and get it out without having to drill it out. So one thing that you can try is using an elastic band on the head of your screwdriver, just to kind of give a bit more friction to stop your screwdriver riding out. You want to try and choose a screwdriver that fits quite nicely into the head of the screw. This one is, I think this one's smaller. So at the moment that just wants to ride out. If I now wrap this over the head, this might work, might not, we'll see. I kind of hope it does, because I don't really want to drill the head off it. Put that in there, put a load of force on it. No. Okay.
Not moving?
Not moving. Unfortunately not. So to get this off, we're just going to drill the head off, and then the thing will pop out. Not too fussed about leaving the end of the screw in the sill, because as you can see, the sill's in a terrible way and it will probably be cut out anyway.
I need a sharper drill.
While my dad was busy blunting all his drills, me and my mum started on removing these. This is one of the rear inner wheel arch trims. The front edge is glued to the lower part of the B-post, and then the top edge is hooked over some plates on the wheel arch itself. I didn't know this at the time, so once it didn't want to come away after ungluing it on the front edge, I moved on to removing this boot pull knob before I caused any irreversible damage to the trim. Once this knob was off, we could also take off the lower piece of carpet. Jim, what are you trying to do?
I'm trying to get the 13th screw out.
Lucky number 13.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how long have you been working on drilling this screw out for?
For about half an hour.
Half an hour. And how much are you charging me per hour?
Well, at the moment, I hadn't considered a rate, but I think it's going up by the second.
So this sill has been absolutely bastardized. Bastardized. Where the inner sill meets like the foot tread to the outer sill, someone has absolutely peppered it with self-tappers. Maybe it's going to be a lucky drill. I reckon this will come up.
You'll bend it, and it'll be difficult to get it straight again.
True, what are you up to?
I'm taking off some of the fails that on the back seat, but it's broken.
It's broken. Good, I was going to reuse that. Great, thanks
I was
so
as well,
much.
Actually.
Yeah. So you've now just turned my one piece of felt into two pieces.
Yeah.
Great.
There's not that much left of it up there anyway, so.
Yeah.
It's actually quite solid.
Mum's playing the drums. Oh, it's solid. Maybe trouble's not as much trouble as I thought. She'll be up and running in no time. Woo! Did you just go through?
No.
No. Oh, okay, we'll come back to that. My dad persevered with drilling out the head on that screw, and after using a selection of his drills and a lot of cutting fluid, he finally got the piece of trim off. I then gave him the job to do the other side. Underneath the trim panels on the rear wings was more sound deadening anti-drumming material. This was glued to the wings with a contact adhesive, so my mum was using a scraper to take it off. It looks like it's in as good a condition as the wing it's glued to. Hopefully we can still use it as a pattern to make a new piece when the time comes. One of the worst sections on Trouble is this offside in the UK, near side, I guess, in America. On Trouble, the passenger side, rear wing, where it's rotten through on the outer wing, and it's also rotten through on the inner wing. This is not in a happy way, both internally and externally. My mum's just been scraping off some of the old sound deadening, and we're back to to, the internal wing actually doesn't look too bad, in fairness. I think it would pass my dad's screwdriver test. With the rear wing stripped and the sill trim finally off, we could start working on the front of the car. This meant taking out the front floorboards, the speakers, and the carpet on the front footwell, or at least what was left of it.
Careful with that speaker, Lars.
This needs to go back in. I see what you mean with the soldering.
Would you like some wire snips?
Yes, please. These speakers had soldered connections, no spades. The wires were actually soldered to the speaker. To save some time, because you know, we're already 2 days in and I haven't finished the restoration, I snipped the soldered connections.
Careful, don't damage it.
Oh, where are we at? Okay, so we've been working on the front of the car. We've taken out the wooden floorboards in the front. Nice tongue and groove little boards that we've got here. Pedal box was a bit of a nightmare. The throttle was basically welded to the floor. We've got those boards out. All of the carpet's off on that front inner wing. Actually, all the carpet is off on that side. Mum's done an amazing job and it's looking pretty good. Just need to take this last little bit of spaghetti out and then all of the soft interior, bar the door cards, will be finished. Oh, and headlining, which was the second thing I was going to take off, and the dash, which looks like it's just going to crumble away. But we've made pretty good progress. The footwell is possibly the most uncomfortable part of the car to work on. I don't think my tummy's going to be the same again. But no, we've done well. Done really well. I don't know if my pedal box is going to work too well. Oh, and I've discovered, so when I mentioned about my window wiper squirter being down by the foot pedal, which was down here, I've just taken it off and I was like, this is weird. There's no wires to it. Where are all the wires? Why is there only a water pipe to it? And it turns out that this is literally no different to your bath rubber duck. If you've got that really stubborn bug stuck on your window and you really want to give it a blast, you just have to stamp on it really hard to increase the pressure. So yeah, they're my squares. My left foot. With the speaker delicately removed, the final job of the day was to take off the carpet covering this inner front wing or footwell. I thought it was a job I was capable of doing, but after my mum watched me remove the screws with clumps of carpet, I was quickly demoted.
Do we have to keep those bits of carpet?
Yes.
This carpet really has just fallen apart. There isn't much of a pattern left, but I reckon my mum will be able to work her magic with it. At least she has some spaghetti to start with.
It's the strongest part of the car.
Guys, that's a wrap on day 2. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to follow along with Trouble's journey, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Oh, you need getting that.
What is
that's
it?
not gonna fuck it up. It's like perfectly sewn together hemp. What is it? It's a hat. Put it on your head.